Truth, Peace, Hotep. Rick is on a roll today. Big Rick 1961, Truth, Peace, Hotep. What y'all soldiers saying is partly correct. There's a reason why these brothers who have these hundreds of millions, you got to remember this. The same, I don't know if it was the same month that Irv Gotti's offices was raided, there was supposed to be this meeting. Okay, you got to check in on this. And the meeting was supposed to include Irv Gotti, Suge Knight, this other brother from Texas, Dame Dash, and some other brother, right? And what they were all trying to do, right, was put together $100 million to create a new distribution network outside of the system that was already there. And the rest of it speaks for itself. And they said there was only one person that knew about that meeting at the same day Jay-Z was supposed to be, on a boat with your same people there, right? Denzel Washington, who's that other brother? He stars in all these movies and stuff. He used to be on Electric Company. I forgot what his name is. Because these guys don't excite me at all because they could be doing more than what they've been doing. But they're doing themselves. That's what actually happens. When we get into this thing about economics. And economics is nothing. In the capitalistic economic system is exploitive to anybody. Because if you spend $1 and it costs you $1 and you selling it for $3, what are you doing with the other $2? Right? You're building wealth, and what are you doing with that wealth? There are times when you have people like Bill Gates or Howard Hughes. They make all this money, and they're like, well, what do I do with it now? They they got to give it away because there's no other place to put it. And then they get these tax incentives, which gives them incentive to be more capitalistic. It's a vicious cycle. But the problem is that the way the economic system is based, there is no ceilings. Now, at one point, I was trying to promote a different type of way they base economics, which is based upon people. Because the average human who has 2 legs, 2 eyes, 2 arms are capable of creating $1 million worth of income on a yearly basis. So if you figure that, you've been allowed through educational systems and all that to be working since you're the age of 21. And if you're like me, I'm like 48 years old. I should have made $26 million. But the thing is that someone else has made that $26 million because they capitalized on the fact that I didn't wake up and make that $1 million a year. Okay? Seems far-fetched, but if we base the ability for every child born to be making $1 million in production a year, then we should be basing our economy on the fact that everybody should be able to get at least $1 million a year. Now you think about that. If you're working and you can make $1 million a year, there would be no poverty in this world. If everybody could do it. See, if you're going to go to global, the synergy of creating a global economy means that, the money here could be able to pay things there. But through the World Trade Organization, what they've done is they've circumvented local ordinances that say that people have to be paid a certain wages to the World Trade Organization in conjunction with the World Monetary System or the World Bank. They come in here, and at one point back in the 80s, all these countries went into so much debt because their infrastructure wasn't generating the amount of money that was conducive to pay off these loans. You got to check all this out. See, money is a tricky situation because every year, it seems like our money's buying less and less because the prices is going up, but yet instead their technology is producing goods at a cheaper level. And if they can't produce at a cheaper level within the infrastructure of America, what they do is they go get it overseas where the only way they can do it is by exploiting their people there. That's why China has the most exports, is because there are more people there they pay them less, and so that, you know, that we're not getting more quality goods, we're just getting more goods. You know, you can go to a store and you see it's made in China, and then, you know, yeah, you may wear it 1 or 2 times, but then it's tearing and ripping apart because the quality of such is not there that you can get from an American company. What we have to do is we have to go back to our local economies and look at these factories that have closed because, oh yeah, we couldn't compete with, you know, the imports from out of this country. And when you hear anybody from this country talking about, no, we have to be able to allow our goods and services to be sold. No, guess what? I don't care if it gets sold over there. Stop playing me. You're playing with me, dude. When you're telling me I have to be able to sell my goods somewhere else around the world. Why? You're saying that, you know, a consumer base of 180 million people isn't enough to sell something? There's where the exploitation starts. Oh yeah, we need to be able to get into the China market because there's 2 billion people over there. Shoot, I could sell my stuff for 50 cents and still make money. Which is the truth. Because if it costs me 10 cents to make it and I'm selling it for 50, but you're over here, you know, it's costing you 10 cents to make it, you're selling it for $1. What are you doing with the other 90 cents? Now I'm talking about the total cost, what it costs to pay the worker, what it costs to, you know, pay off your loans, taxes, all the rest of the stuff. Trust me when I tell you, it's just like with the phone companies, the greatest example. That's why all these phone companies have all these different price plans now. Because in all actuality, it used to cost 2.5 cents to make a phone call and they charged you a dime. That's why they broke it up as a monopoly because, you know, there was so much money being made out of there. And then what they did was they made all these little companies out there because there's certain goods and services that everybody uses that these people are making billions off of. Head up in the time, you know what I mean? Because they only give you 10 minutes on these things. And I've been ranting. You know, I don't know. Like I said, I've been on the road with that. Yeah, money, yeah. But you got to really get into economics, local economics. There are factories and things that we need to do. When, you know, when they said buy it in the USA, and people are like, nah, I ain't gonna buy it from there. I'm getting it from Italy. I'm getting it from, you know, France. I'm gonna get it from England. You know what I mean? Blah 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 blah. You've been psyched into believing that it can't be made good here because you know why? Because you hate yourselves. Even when you get into the fact of being an American, when you think of American, you think of, you know, some lazy ass guy getting overpaid like these union people. See, this is this whole psyche that they have. We don't even look at each other as people anymore. We've labeled ourselves this, that, and the other thing when we should be labeling ourselves, are we helping each other? You know? Now, within my mindset, there is a way that we can do this. And over the next few months, I will be producing these videos so that we can, you know, and it has to be done because, you know, when you look at communities and building communities and self-sustainable communities, they were around here for hundreds of thousands of years. This whole new global economy nonsense is nothing but exploitation because of the patriarchal system that's in place now. If you understand that, then you feel me. If you don't understand it, then I understand. No problem. But yeah, it's not about, you know, getting one person out there and, you know, and telling people we already have that infrastructure. It's in our churches. Think about it. Truth, Peace, Hotel.